Hello everyone, my name's Joji, and today I'm going to be analysing all the licensed Survivor perks. I'll link all the perk quotes to which point in the series or game it's from, and I'll try and explain what the perk represents for the character or what it may be directly referencing. Let's get into it. First off, I'm going to be looking at Steve Harrington's perks and all the Stranger Things survivors. His first perk is Babysitter or Guardian. This one appears to be based around season 1 or 2 of Stranger Things and shows Steve holding his iconic nailed bat, the one he uses to fend off a Demogorgon in season 1. The perk represents Steve's role as the babysitter for the kids of Hawkins. This quote seen here at the bottom of the description can be referenced directly from this scene.
This is not happening. No buts. I promise I keep your shithead safe, and that's exactly what I plan on doing.
The next perk of Steve's is Camaraderie or Kinship. In the icon we can see 2 walkie-talkies next to a hook. This is most definitely a reference to the walkie-talkies that the kids use throughout all of Stranger Things to communicate. And this quote right here is from this Stranger Things scene.
Sound like I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care.
There you go, you're learning, my friend. You're learning.
His final perk is Second Wind or Renewal. In the icon we see Steve kneeling with his bat. The premise of this perk is probably representing Steve coming back from fights, which he gets into many throughout the series. It could also represent his character development and how he almost renews himself towards the end of Stranger Things Season 1. This quote right here is from this scene.
So, there's nothing we can do.
Clear path to the gate.
Yeah, and then we all die.
Well, that's one point of view.
No, that's not a point of view, man. That's a fact.
We set this on fire.
No, yeah, that's a no.
Mine.
Next up is Nancy Wheeler's perks. Her first perk is Better Together or Situational Awareness. In this icon we see Nancy standing with a person who seems to not be any particular character and simply seems to be just a figure to represent Nancy's teamwork. The perk description represents how Nancy is determined to uncover the truth of what is happening in Hawkins, no matter what is in the way. This quote right here can be linked directly to this scene in Stranger Things.
There's Hall and Steph. They're gone.
You still want to do this?
Let's burn that lab to the ground.
Her next perk is Fixated or Self-Aware. This is another perk to represent Nancy's almost detective-like work throughout Stranger Things and shows off her determination. It could also be showing how aware and wary Nancy is throughout Stranger Things, given that the in-game effect is that you can see your own scratch marks. Nancy also has a motto throughout the show, and that's for asking for forgiveness and not permission, and that's probably what this quote is referencing at the top. Due to copyright reasons, I can't actually show this particular scene, but this is where she says it. Her next and final perk is Inner Healing or Inner Strength. The perk description is a reference to how Nancy finds it within herself to keep going and uncover the truth, which I think is very true to her character. The perk could also be referencing how Nancy tries to uncover the truth of what happened to her best friend Barb throughout the show. Next up is Cheryl Mason from the Silent Hill series. Her first perk is Soul Guard. The perk icon shows Cheryl holding the Seal of Metatron, an item that throughout Silent Hill contains strong protective and magic qualities. The perk description also shows how Cheryl has been through immense hardship through her battles in the campaign of Silent Hill 3, and she's now stronger for it in the entity's realm. Her next one is Blood Pact. This was a tricky one to link to anything in particular, but the perk most likely just shows the psychic nature of Cheryl and her enemies throughout Silent Hill 3. This is implied by the perk description. It probably also just means that now she's in the entity's realm, a latent part of herself has awakened due to her psychic experiences. Her final perk is Repressed Alliance. In the icon we can see a generator being blocked by the entity's grasp. This perk explains how Cheryl is accustomed to being hunted by malicious forces throughout Silent Hill 3, and how in the entity's realm she's begun to use it to her advantage. This makes her one of the few survivors that can call upon the entity to complete an action for them. The whole premise of Silent Hill 3 is Cheryl escaping her enemies by completing puzzles and taking them down, so we can definitely see how she's accustomed to dealing with these kind of things in the series. Next up is Detective David Tapp from the Saw franchise. His first perk is Tenacity. This one is most likely a reference to Tapp's resilience and tenacity when he's injured in the Saw films. He's attacked by John Kramer and then Zepp Hindle in the first film, but still manages to crawl away and fight back in some cases. This quote right here is from this direct scene in Saw.
Stop that thing! I'm taking this bastard down!
His next perk is Detective's Hunch. This one is quite self-explanatory, but it shows Tapp's skills and career as a detective throughout Saw, and gives him a detective's hunch in the entity's realm. He was extremely close to capturing Jigsaw many times throughout the film. This quote right here is from this scene in Saw.
How can I help you, gentlemen?
Are you able to tell us where you were between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. last night, Doctor?
His final perk is Stakeout. This perk references to Tap getting close to cracking the jigsaw case and staking out John Kramer for evidence, and how it fills him with determination. And after almost capturing the jigsaw killer, aka John Kramer, we get this quote here.
Had you on your knees. You're running. You're running. You're running scared because we had you. We're gonna close this case. Right, close it. Right, scene. Right? We're gonna close it, scene.
Next up we have Quentin Smith from the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street remake. His first perk is Wake Up. This one I believe is just referencing the whole premise of the film and how to counter Freddy. You need to wake up to escape him. This perk could also be referencing the extreme measures Quentin goes to stay awake throughout the film, like using pure adrenaline. Quentin's next perk is Pharmacy. This perk references Quentin's knack of finding medicine throughout the film. While this perk may be a bit broad for referencing directly, we could assume that it's based on this scene in Nightmare on Elm Street, where Quentin is literally at a pharmacy trying to get drugs to beat Freddy Krueger.
Quentin! Quentin!
Just fill it up.
No.
Quentin's final perk is Vigil. This perk is most likely referencing Quentin looking over Nancy throughout the film and making sure she's safe, no matter how heated things get with Freddy Krueger. And his lore states that he now feels like he has to protect others in the entity's realm. Next up we have Yuichi Asakawa from the Ringu series. His first perk is Dark Theory. In this perk icon, we can see a symbol that can be seen throughout the tape in the Ringu movies. The perk also references Yuichi's experience with the supernatural and how it translates into the entity's realm. He makes other survivors run faster. His second perk is Parental Guidance. This perk is a reference to Yuichi's ability to hear the dead in the Ringu film, and how the dead now warn him of danger in the entity's realm. It is also referencing how Yuichi got his psychic powers from his parents. The icon art is probably referencing this specific scene in Ringu. His final perk is Empathic Connection. This is a tough one to reference to anything specific. I believe that it just hints at Yuichi's psychic experiences throughout his battle with Sadako, and now it translates into the entity's realm by projecting himself to those in danger. That's all I can link it down to, really. In the icon, we see Yuichi standing with his yellow coat, in which we see in game. Next up, we have Ashley J. Williams from the Evil Dead franchise. His first perk is Medal of Man. This perk shows how evil always has a way of finding Ash throughout Evil Dead, but it's probably referencing the most recent Ash vs Evil Dead series, after he reopens the Necronomicon. In the icon, we also see Ash's robotic hand, the one which Pablo built.
Oh yeah, baby. Thanks, guys.
His next perk is Flip Flop. This perk is a representation of Ash's dumb luck and his uncanny ability to escape the inevitable as the chosen one. In many points in the series, we see Ash escaping situations where he should most definitely be dead. However, he manages to overcome his enemies every single time. This quote here can be heard in this scene.
Catch you on the flip flop, good buddy.
His final perk is Buckle Up. I believe this perk is referencing Ash's teamwork with Pablo, Kelly, and his other friends throughout Ash vs Evil Dead, and how he never leaves a man behind. The main reason I think this is because of the quote that accompanies the perk. The Ghost Beaters is a team name made up by Pablo in Season 1, though it wasn't that popular.
Hey, I was toying with a nickname for us. The Ghost Beaters.
That is so bad.
Yeah, buddy, I gotta tell you, that's probably the worst thing I've ever heard.
Next up, we have Bill Overbeck from the Left 4 Dead video game series. Bill's first perk, Borrowed Time, is a representation of Bill's altruistic side. We see Bill helping many others in Left 4 Dead, and this is how it translates into the entity's realm. This quote by Bill here can be heard when his teammates are injured in Left 4 Dead.
Take it easy, kid. I'm gonna get you back on your feet and fighting. Hell, kid, they just winged you. Come on. Back on your feet. Let's get moving. Here we go. Back on your feet, soldier. You're not getting out of this fight that easy.
His second and probably most fitting perk is Unbreakable. As an army veteran, Bill has grown the ability to recover and get back into the fight like not many others can. This translates into the entity's realm by letting Bill recover from the dying state at least once per trial. Bill's final perk is Left Behind. Left Behind shows Bill's determination to get the job done, even if that means he's left behind. The perk may be referencing Bill's death in Left 4 Dead. Bill sacrifices himself at the end of the game and leaves himself behind to save all the others. This is a quote from his tome lore that I think fits here. Next survivor is Leon S. Kennedy from the Resident Evil series. His first perk is Bite the Bullet. This perk represents Leon's ability to be resilient to pain and to put on an axe so others stay calm. The icon shows Leon healing with a band-aid of some sort, and the quote from Leon can be linked back to this scene.
I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Next up is Flashbang. This perk shows how Leon has adapted to a world of pure chaos and makes do with what junk he can get from debris. He shows his skills in the entity's realm by crafting a grenade-like item to stun the killer, made supposedly from spare generator parts. This quote here can be linked to this scene.
Get out of my face! Get out of my face! Stay back!
Finally, we have Rookie Spirit. This is a reference to how Leon is a relatively new member of STARS, well, at least when he was taken. It shows how he keeps a careful eye on objectives when they're slipping, giving him the ability to see regressing generators in the realm. The perk is probably related to Leon trying to stop hordes of zombies in Resident Evil 2. The quote from this perk can be seen right here.
I'll stop this, Lieutenant. I promise.
Next up is Jill Valentine, again from the Resident Evil series. Her first perk is Resurgence. This perk is almost definitely a reference to Jill's survival of Albert Wesker. She tackled him out of a mansion window to save Chris Redfield and was presumed dead. However, later in the series she's revealed to be alive again against all odds, showing her resurgence in the series. This quote from Jill is from this.
Come on. Start, damn it! It's my turn, bitch!
Her next perk is Blast Mine. Blast Mine shows Jill's creative ways to fight back even when direct combat isn't an option. Similar to Leon's Flashbang, she makes do with generated debris and makes it into explosive traps. The quote right here can be referenced to Jill's interaction with Nemesis.
No! Damn it!
Come on, you creepy ass stalker! You want stars? I'll give you stars!
Finally, we have Counterforce. This perk shows Jill's strategic ability to take down enemies much larger than her. It's probably referencing Nemesis and other monsters Jill has taken on in her time as a STARS member. The skill is brought into the entity's realm by knocking down the support of the killer, aka Hex Totems. The quote in the description can be seen here.
You're a fool! If I die, you'll never find out the truth.
I don't mind a little detective work.
And as our final survivor, we have Laurie Strode from the 1978 Halloween film. Her first perk is the infamous Decisive Strike. This perk is a reference to Laurie's ability to keep escaping from Michael Myers. This may be directly referencing this scene in Halloween where Laurie literally stabs Michael Myers. Her next perk is Soul Survivor. This perk is a reference to how Laurie is the only survivor amongst her friends, because they all fall to Michael Myers during the film. She becomes shrouded in isolation, drawing her further from the killer. This quote right here can be heard in this scene.
You're scared of.
Are you sure? How?
Killed him.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
Finally, we have Object of Obsession. This perk is most definitely talking about Michael Myers' relentless obsession with Laurie Strode throughout Halloween. A supernatural bond linked Laurie and Michael. The quote we see here can be referenced to this particular scene. And that is going to do it for this video. Let me know if you want me to do the licensed killers next, and consider subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks guys, and I'll catch you next time.